This video is a demonstration of how to plot 2 sine 3t from t equals 0 through the end of the first cycle, which is number 12D in problem set B. So I figured I'd just work through this as an example of how this can be done in Excel. Okay, so now a key thing to recognize is that we want the argument 3t to go from 0 to 2 pi so that we complete one cycle. That means we need t to go from 0 to 2/3 pi, because at 3t equals 2 pi, that corresponds to t equaling 2 pi over 3. And let's do about 50 increments to ensure a smooth curve. Okay, so now, so the first value of t is just 0. Now the second value of t, if we want 50 increments, okay, basically we want t to be 1/50th of 2 pi over 3, right? So we want to enter equals 2 times pi. Now in Excel, when you want to enter the value of pi, you actually need to put, at least in my version of Excel, probably yours too, you need to put the empty parentheses after pi and then divide it by 3. Now that's going to give you, when we plug that into the function, that gets multiplied by 3. So that gives us our 2 pi. But we want 1/50th of that. So I'm going to divide all that by 50 and hit return. Okay, now, I don't want to keep entering that formula. But what I can do is this. If I copy and then replace this with just values, see the 1, 2, 3 there? Now it's just a value. It's no longer a formula. Okay. And now what I can do is if I click both of these cells and then click and select both of those cells and then click and drag by holding the lower right corner and then pressing right click and holding down, it's going to give me evenly spaced values all the way down to what I want. Now 50 rows later. So let's do that. Okay. And now the y values equals 2 times sine. Now Excel is going to want the angle to be in radians, which is fine because that's what we have. And if we multiply that t value by 3 equals sine, 2 times sine, 3 times whatever is in the neighboring cell, which is the cell, we use the cell address, which is B9, then close parentheses, and that should come out to 0. And now if I click and drag this, the cell address will automatically change for me to B10. You can see that it's now B10, and it's going to automatically do that. So I can just click and drag this all the way down. All right, now, to plot it, just go ahead and select all of this data set and then go to insert, and you can see in the charts group this little one here, it's a scatter. It allows you to do scatters. Click the arrow on that and then we'll pick the scatter with smooth lines. Okay, and then there's your plot, and you can kind of slide it around. And I don't like, we don't want the label of y to be right there. But what we can do is, we're in chart design now, this tab, and go to add chart element and add an axis title, the horizontal axis, just T. And you can move that if you want to be up here. And then the vertical axis, we'll add that axis title, primary vertical. It'll just be Y. And you can maybe get a little more fancy than this. Now it also says to label. And if you use the add data label, add data callout, I mean, at least for me, I'm getting it to show every single point. So if you don't want that, what you could do is click on insert again up here and then go to text and you can insert a box, and then like if you want to name an intercept, you can make your box here, and there might be a better way to do. You might find a better way to do this. And you can see the intercept right there. You get if you select there, you get a very. You notice that the second term, that the y value is it's very, very small. It's very close to 0. That's just really due to computer rounding error. And the t value is 1.047, which really you could express as a multiple of some fraction of pi if you want. But we'll just put 1.047, and we'll call it 0. And if you want to have a background and outline for the box, format object, and we'll have a solid line for the outline, just say make it black. And you can have a fill also, and maybe make it a white fill. And if you want to draw a little arrow, we can insert right under shapes. You can get a little arrow there. And then you can do name the other intercepts and the max and min if you'd like. We'll tell the grader not to be too picky on that because it is kind of tedious, but try to do it once in your set so that you get a familiarity with it. Try to label something. Okay.